This is my Webquest for Divine Providence covered in our class. We begin with a very simple welcome, discussing what Divine Providence is. It's a term that describes the belief that God governs the entire universe with wisdom and love. God is sovereign and in complete control of things. This opens up an interesting question concerning free will. So in my introduction, we're going to cover the idea of divine providence with three questions. The reason I did this, there is limiting it to the three questions, is because we can be led to long discussions and tangential thought if we don't secure this doctrinal study with three questions. First question, of course, if God is sovereign, do humans actually have free will? If so, what scriptures show this? The second question, does God's sovereignty eliminate free choice at any level within the human family? The third is, what's the difference between providence and miracles, and where do we see examples in history? These three questions set the tone for the study of divine providence that they're going to do as the Webquest continues. A couple of quotes here, one from John Wesley, two from presidents, George Washington and John Adams, just to heighten their interest. Remember, these are adult students, vocational ministry, already in the pastoral ministry. So the expectations are a little higher of what I expect from them. By the time they finish the task, they will deliver a 5-minute presentation in the style of a TED Talk, explaining the definition of divine providence and whether it eliminates free choice of humanity at any level. Secondly, they're going to team up with another student. We're going to differentiate the process a little bit and team up with another student to perform a skit demonstrating the conflict of man's free will and God's sovereignty. We'll discuss how to do that in the process. And then thirdly, deliver a 2-page paper detailing the account, one from history, one from scripture, detailing the account of why you believe they are examples of divine providence. There is a difference between divine providence and miraculous, and so they have to be able to cover that in their paper. The process is accessing and developing information. They're going to be writing a 2-page paper, presenting a TED Talk presentation. They're going to present a skit. They are going to break into groups. They're going to study their sites. Here are the links that they have for their process. The link is going to help them prepare a 5-minute TED Talk. How to present your TED Talk. It's a very simple process. These following links are historical in nature and might pique their interest as to what they can see, and also may help them understand how God works in divine providence, and then study out in Scripture where a situation in divine providence has taken place. And then these links help in the formation of our views. The YouTube here searches out the 4 views Christianity holds of divine providence. This is a great research by Alan Rhoda, and then the study of providence by Apologetics Press and AMG Publishers, both great resources as well. Second part of the process, they're going to collaborate. I don't want them to sit at a table and make decisions concerning what they believe. They need to go beyond that. They need to understand that you have to talk with each other, to visit the sites together, even argue the point. When a person has a novel idea, shoot holes in it if you can. Orthodoxy is not its own reward. You have to know what you believe. You have to defend it. And if you defend it together here, you'll be able to defend it in the pulpit and also in life. The third part of this process is the actual presentation. For your papers and your TED Talk, you're going to perform your tasks individually, but you're going to be relaying the information gleaned both by yourselves and while collaborating with your fellow students. This differentiates the process, it differentiates the content, but it makes it possible that one person can't make up a doctrine on their own. It leads to heresy. You've got to make sure that your doctrine stands up to the criticism of others. For your skit, it's going to be fun. You're going to choose a partner, act out a real-life situation where one of you is struggling with providence and the other is trying to understand the crisis of free will. while the other is either God or a protagonist striving to answer. Very interested in how that's going to work out. You can choose a situation within life, or you can even choose a situation within Scripture. It's up to you. There's a difference, again, the memory, the reminder. There's a difference between miracles and providence. You need to be able to work within that. My evaluation of this class, the assessment, then we have the assessment right here. They'll be assessed on their ability to locate, select, and organize information that's relevant to the doctrine in the Webquest, and turn it into a coherent presentation of the task. Next, they should be able to describe and evaluate key instances of providence. That's going to be taken care of in their paper. They're going to evaluate the usefulness of the resources. I need to know if the resources that I have provided make the discussions animated, and also give them the necessary information to help them develop their own thought processes and their own doctrine. They're going to be evaluating the different perspectives and interpretation of divine providence from the YouTube and comparing it with man's free will. And then I'm going to assess how well they work with a partner. You got to play well with others. Let's face it. And then they're going to be assessed on their ability to communicate with understanding, communicate their understanding of relevant concepts and issues raised with the Webquest. Here is my rubric. 4 levels: sound interpretation and analysis of resources. Did they read them, basically? Will that show? Goes from beginning to exemplary. I'll score that on a 1 to 4 basis. Relevant evidence and personal reflections. I want to know if they put themselves into it. Do they have an understanding of the concepts? Are they just more than parroting the idea? Do they present more than just orthodox thought? In other words, do they support the ideas with information-informed knowledge of divine providence and its examples in history and in the Scripture? Their presentation ability. Can you put it out there? Can you communicate it? And next, your collaborative abilities. Do you play well with others? Are you a good partner? Do you, iron sharpens iron, the Bible says. So are you able to function that way? And then the conclusion. I have 3 YouTubes. One is just basically a YouTube in 2 parts to understand divine providence if they want to continue on. My teacher page is an understanding of the standards. Now, the standards will be my doctrinal statement. I have a couple of Common Core reading and writing standards here that are linked to check that out. But the standards of the paper should fit the Common Core standards for college and career. Credits, and then that is our, and then here's the URL for this Webquest. I hope this was a help, and I trust that it is something that will be a benefit to my students. Thank you.